In this video, we're going to talk about unsecured personal lines of credit. What are they? Where can you get them? And I'll share with you a special tip of how you can get lines of credit that don't actually show on your personal credit report. Stay tuned. So what are personal lines of credit? Unsecured personal lines of credit. Well, unsecured means that there's no collateral, so it's not like a home equity line of credit. It's not attached to an asset like a house or anything like that. It's unsecured. And the line of credit aspect, it's very similar to like a personal credit card where you have, let's say you get approved for $25,000 personal line of credit. What's cool about a personal line of credit in comparison to a business, to a personal credit card, is that with the line of credit, you can just transfer the money from your line of credit into your checking account, and then you can withdraw it as cash, or you could write a check to really anybody. So lines of credit are really, really cool, definitely more useful than credit cards because they are as good as cash. Not that you can't pull cash off a credit card, but personal lines of credit are specifically used for that purpose of pulling cash off of them, and it's a lot less expensive in most cases than pulling cash off a credit card. The minimum payments usually on a personal line of credit are very low. Oftentimes, it's you could check with your with who's offering you the line of credit, but in many cases, it's just a small percentage of the balance because you're mostly just paying the interest. You're not paying a lot of the principal. In many cases, it's just 1% of the balance. So, like if you have $10,000 balance, then 1% would be about $100. So it'd be maybe $100 or so per month would be the payment. Maybe a little bit higher. You can actually use a calculator to figure that out exactly. So what are the requirements for unsecured personal lines of credit? Well, it depends on the lender. In fact, there are some lenders like there's some lenders online that actually require bank statements. So I would call those deposit-based qualifications. So it really depends on how much deposits you're making into your bank statements. For some people, that's a good thing. For some people, that's a bad thing. In many cases, if the lender is looking at bank statements, they may not be looking as strongly at your personal credit score. Another requirement would be strictly just credit-based. So they're not looking for documents. They're not looking for bank statements. They're just looking at your credit score. And so if it's primarily credit score driven, make sure that you know what your credit scores are, all three of them. I like to look at FICO score because FICO score is the real credit score that most banks use. And ideally, you want your credit utilization under 25%. Like, for example, one of the lenders that I'll share with you is PenFed. I have a $25,000 personal line of credit with PenFed, and ideally, you want your credit utilization under 25% before you apply with PenFed. Now, when I got the line of credit, it was unsecured, and it was also no doc, so they didn't need bank statements or tax returns or pay stubs or anything like that. Some people that have applied for PenFed do require that information. Some people do not. Haven't figured out exactly the reasoning behind it, but you can bet it's based off the requirements of credit score, the length of how long you've had your credit established, what your stated income is, etc. I mean, again, don't know the exact underwriting requirements, but what I can tell you is that credit utilization, ideally you want it under 25%. All that really means is if you add up like all your credit cards that you have, all your revolving accounts that you have, so let's you got like a Home Depot card, you got another credit card, whatever, store card, and let's say the total limit on all those cards is $10,000, then make sure your total balances all across those cards is $2,500 or less. Because if your total cumulative limit is $10,000 and your total cumulative balance is $2,500, that's 25% credit utilization. And ideally, that is where you want to be when you're applying for an unsecured personal line of credit. Again, every lender is going to have different qualifications, but this is what I found that helped out with PenFed. There's other lenders too that, again, they're looking more at your deposits in your checking account and things like that. They may not care as much about the credit score, things like that. So some of the lenders that we've had success with getting unsecured personal lines of credit include Discover, Sophie, PenFed, and Wells Fargo. There's more online that you could try, like U.S. Bank, for example, and Citi. I don't have personal experience with those, but for sure, I've had good experiences with Discover, Sophie, PenFed, and Wells Fargo as of late, and hopefully that helps you out. Now, let me share with you a quick tip on how you can get lines of credit that don't show on your personal credit report. They're called business lines of credit, and there's a lot of businesses, a lot of banks, a lot of local community banks and credit unions out there that offer business lines of credit, and they don't show on your personal credit report, which is great, because if you get a business line of credit from a bank like, let's say currently Capital One, they offer a business line of credit program. The usage that you have on that business line of credit doesn't show on your personal credit report. So I got a $50,000 business line of credit from Capital One, and at the time they're offering a very competitive program, a good rate, unsecured, no doc. I say it that way because this is YouTube, and I don't know exactly when you're watching the video, things can change. But this is why you want to always stay in touch with local community banks, credit unions, see what programs they offer. But I still have that line of credit, and the balance that I have on the business line of credit doesn't show on my personal credit report. So if I were to max out that card and say temporarily I have business needs that require that, or for whatever reason, I'm not hurting my personal credit score, which is fantastic. I mean, it's a great way to keep your personal FICO score, your personal credit score, very high. If you want to learn more about how to get business lines of credit, just check us out. You've already found us. You're on the right channel. Just check out some of the other videos that we have on that topic. So I hope that helps you out a lot. If you saw value in this video and you like it, please hit me with that thumbs up button, hit that like button, and subscribe. Subscribe so that you can get notified when the next video comes out.